Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call to order the regular City Council meeting for the City of Angels for Tuesday, October 18th. Will you please stand and join us in a pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there any member of the council or member of staff that wants to revise the agenda? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Behill, seconded by Councilwoman Morris. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That passes. The next item is standard staff updates. Is there any member of the council that has any questions or comments about what the content of the staff report?
I just want to say thank you to Public Works for doing the research on the J-brakes. I don't know where you're at, but yeah. So thank you.
Okay. Is there any member of the public that wants to comment on anything contained in the staff report? Okay. Seeing none, the next item is council updates. And I'll begin on my right, Councilman Behill.
No report.
No report.
Okay, Vice Mayor Follender.
No report.
I just have three quick items to state that on the 5th of October, I attended the standard monthly COG meeting. Following that, on the 13th, I attended the Destination Angels Camp bi-monthly board meeting. And finally, this last Saturday, I participated in the Mark Twain Wild West Fest by presenting appreciation plaques to co-producers John C. Smith and Bert Simonis of This and That Productions, indicating the City of Angels Camp appreciation for their film 88 Days in the Mother Lode, where Mark Twain finds his voice. That concludes my council update. The next item is public comment. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons wishing to address the council on any matter not on the agenda. State law prohibits the city council from acting upon matters not listed on the agenda, and matters raised by the public will automatically be referred to staff or placed on the next meeting's agenda. So is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the council on an item not on the agenda? This would be the time, and you can approach the podium with your name and address.
Hi, my name is Cora Brolio, and I live at 1170 Echo Street in Angels Camp. Oh, I'm so nervous. I wanted to talk to you guys tonight, briefly, I know you're very busy, about the plans for Tryon Park, and I would like to give you a little bit of information on a community splash pad and talk to you about some research that I've done about that. So a community splash pad would be a free community recreation area designed for interactive play. I am a stay-at-home mom. Prior to being a stay-at-home mom, I went to college, I got a degree, I was a teacher in the Central Valley. I chose to have my children in Angels Camp. We bought a house here, my husband works here, and there's nothing for us to do here. My experience in finding recreation is traveling up to 2 hours away to locate things for me and my children to do. A splash pad is targeted for children toddler age and up. According to the census data for our county, there's about 45,000 residents in Calaveras County. That's 16,000 households. And of that, there's 26% that have children under the age of 18. And that would be the target demographic for something like this. It's climb resistant. There's no standing water. It's relatively safe. It's quick. What happens is a child runs up and pushes a button, and for about a minute, water sprays out of buckets and tubes and hoses and arches, anything you can think of, really. There's no lifeguard, and it's more interactive than a pool. I know we have a wonderful community pool, but a splash pad is something that they can run and play and be really active, which is really what I look for in trying to tire my children out. Tryon Park had the pool. That's obviously gone, and now it's this big, open, beautiful space. And there's been a lot of things that are proposed for that area. Bocce ball courts, basketball courts, picnic areas. All of those would work well with a splash pad. It's something that the whole community could really benefit from. I know there's been talks of a bike path. It would really be, easy to put a bike path into the downtown area, which pushes activity and flow to the downtown district. There's parking relatively close. The business communities that I've talked to, the different people down there have expressed an interest in working with something like that down there, the movie theater, the different restaurants, and pulling in people from Amador and Tuolumne County that would perhaps be going as far as Sacramento, Lodi, Madera. There's one in Reno that's very, very productive. So when I talk about this, people say, oh, but we're in a drought. And I understand that we're in a drought. I have a very yellow lawn that reminds me that we're in a drought. There are different grants that are available, and of the 2 distributors that I talk to that build these types of things, they work with you if you decide to go the grant route. Also, when I talk about this to people, which I do a lot, people say, oh, that's going to be so expensive. And like the top of the line, most beautiful splash pads you could think of is about $200,000. The tank itself is about $16,000. Here in the state of California, we have to have a 4,000-gallon tank. That comes with UV filters that sanitizes the heck out of that water because you don't want to dump dirty water on kids. There are a little bit of electrical requirements. You require a 60-amp, 230-volt electrical supply to run the pumps and the filters. You need a 1-inch water line supply to provide clean water. With the pool being there, I'm not sure what was done away with when that area was filled in, but we know that it's capable of those types of things. A 50 by 50 square foot pad, or by 50 by 50 pad can accommodate up to 40 to 50 children at a time.
Okay. Let me just interrupt you. I think we get the idea. We don't need to hear the details of how it's built or the components. I can tell you that we have a master plan for Angels Creek Bike Trail, which would pass by the park, and that is being designed right now. It's primarily being funded through grants, so as you suggest, we can certainly take any written information that you have and pass it on to our engineering department and ask them to consider it, if appropriate, to incorporate in the plans.
Okay.
And I would only ask the city administrator, is there anything else you would add to that? Without getting into the
Having
details.
constructed 2 of them in cities that were mentioned in her presentation, I'm very familiar with them, but you're absolutely right. We need to look at how it would incorporate with the master trail. We don't have a parks master plan. That would be the other placeholder for that type of thing, but we can look at it in concert with the trail.
All right.
Would you like me to leave this sitting here for you? The information, where would you like that? You said you
Yeah, we'll take it right here.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the council on a matter not on tonight's agenda? Please come forward.
Hi, my name's Amanda Darby Davis. I live at 1352 Bush Street, Angels Camp. And Tryon Park. I'm a mother of 4, ages 18 months to 8, and we love playing in the creek. We love the playground. Tryon Park is a beautiful part of our town, and so is our creek. And I think Cora's idea is really great. I'd like to contribute. It would be nice to have a playground there. We could use reclaimed materials, use tires, wood, driftwood, and we could use all local contractors and that would be willing to donate their time. And we could create tiles, honoring the volunteers, make a really nice area and supporting our community, and we could raise the funds. We could make it very affordable. We have a great community that's good at raising money to help our kids. And also, possibly do a community garden run by volunteers and with hopefully at-risk youth to learn how to grow plants and vegetables that could beautify the area as well and learn life skills. And bathrooms would be good. We've had a couple parties there and realized that we have our elderly relatives and there's no bathroom. So that would be nice. But there's lots of possibilities with fundraising in our community. And a walkway from downtown to Tryon Park would be nice, making it safer. Maybe reducing the speed limit so people drive slower through there and help promote business downtown and venturing to the park. Or possibly a bridge from the end of Bird's Way that goes over to the highway. Just some ideas, and Cora brought up Tryon Park, so I thought I'd add them tonight. I think that's all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We will pass those ideas on to our planning and engineering department.
Hi, my name's Mike Darby. Live at 1079 Bret Harte Road in Angels Camp. Yeah, I grew up. I'm just on the same subject of this park down there. It used to be the swimming pool down there. All I remember is a girl jumped off the board and broke her arm, and eventually we had to get rid of that diving board. When my mom was a kid, it was a rock wall. It was a hole in the ground with rock walls, sand bottom. They'd pipe water in from Angels Creek and out the other side. Lots of bacteria, I guess. I'm just saying, you might consider just having some grass there. Yeah, it's an empty spot. Maybe a lawn. Have you ever played in the creek itself? It's dangerous. Could get cut. There's mercury in there. That's my opinion. Okay.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the council on a matter not on the agenda? Seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. We have two items on the consent calendar. Item A being approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of October 4th. And item B, adopt resolution number 16-38 awarding the North Baker Street replacement and Bush Street manhole installation project to SCCI Construction and approve an additional budget authority of $11,000. Is there any member of the council that wishes to remove one of those items for special discussion? Seeing none, is there any member of the public that wishes to have one of those items removed for special discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve both items A and B. Oh.
Amanda Darby Davis again. So who is this company that will be doing the job? I'm sorry. I don't know where
The
they're
name of the
from.
company is SCCI.
Where are they from?
I cannot tell you that, but if you want to have that item discussed separately, then we will remove it from the agenda and we'll bring it up as a separate item.
Okay.
So all you had to say is, yes, I'd like to remove that.
Oh, yes, just
Okay.
that item.
All right, so we will act on those items separately. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of October 4th?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Behill. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Mayor Follendorf. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye? Okay. Item B is the awarding of a contract to SCCI. Perhaps we could ask the city engineer to give a brief report, and that might answer your question.
Okay, thank you. SCCI is actually an acronym. Their name is Sierra Communications and Constructors Incorporated, but it made the title of the resolution very long, so I just shortened it. They're out of Cathays Valley, just down the road a piece, and they're actually the ones that did the demolition on the Tryon Park pool. This is a small project to replace collapsing sewer line and install 2 manholes to help clean and access a couple of sewer mains.
Okay. And their bid is correct in all respects?
Yes, no, it's correct. We originally estimated this to be about $44,000, and it came in at $45,800, and so we wanted to add some extra room for if there's a possible change order without having to come back to the council in a hurry, and so we asked for an additional budget allotment of $11,000.
Ms. Davis, does that answer your question? If not, if you have additional questions, please come forward.
No, that takes care of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Dave. With that said, is there a motion to approve a resolution 16-38?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Moved by Councilwoman Morris, seconded by Councilman Behill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes unanimously also. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing to adopt ordinance number 478, an ordinance adding chapter 8.26 of the City of Angels Municipal Code regulating smoking within the City of Angels. And before we actually get involved into this item, I want to make a request that this item be continued to the first meeting in November. We only have 4 council people with us tonight, and this matter is of extreme importance to the city. Our city engineer has spent countless hours researching this ordinance and developing the draft ordinance as we have before us based on our request. And I think as a professional courtesy to our fellow council members, we need to have everybody present to provide input and to vote on this matter. So with that, I request that this item be continued to the first meeting in November. The first thing that we will do is I'll ask my fellow council members if they have any comments on my request. And then second, the public also will be invited to comment on my request as well.
I would add one additional thing. Because this matter did appear on the agenda, if you do choose as a council to continue this, we would have to allow anyone who wishes to speak tonight to speak to you on the substance of the ordinance. So even though you would be bringing this back at your next meeting, if anyone here wants to speak, because this is on an agenda and because of the way the Brown Act reads, we do have to let them speak.
Okay.
So if you, I just want to be clear that even if you continue this, if there is any public substantive comment, we would have to take that tonight.
Okay. So should we proceed as I described? Council comment first, public comment second?
Well, I think that what council comments on the issue of continuance, then open it up to anyone in the public who wants to speak on the continuance,
And then we'll vote on the.
then vote.
Yeah.
And then if you choose to move forward, we'll follow the process. If you choose not to move forward, then anyone who wants to speak before we convene the meeting can do so.
Okay, everybody understand the process? Is there any member of the council that wishes to respond to my request?
After public comment.
Okay, okay. We'll defer, the council will defer speaking to that. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to comment or respond on my request for a continuance? If so, please come to the microphone and state your name and address.
Wait, you need to be clear. This way.
Hi, I'm Mike Darby, 1079 Bret Harte Road, Angels Camp. I think it's a great idea to move it forward and have a little more discussion in November. That's a great idea. It's pretty hard to get people to come out like they've done tonight. I've done nothing but work on this all week long. I would expect 250 people to be here based on the people that said, oh, I'd love to be there. Oh, we've got a game. We've got a teachers meeting. I got to work. And I even got people from Florida maybe here tonight. Some tourists, real tourists, visitors to Angels Camp that had a strong opinion about this. So I think it's great if we went ahead for November, but I like the idea of letting people talk tonight too.
Thank you.
My name's James Parrish. I live at 483 Highway 49, and I think that's a great idea about continuing it, but also I don't know if you guys have put this in the paper, and if you haven't, I think you should, and that way we could get everybody to come here, because there's a lot of people that don't know nothing about this.
Thank you. Just for your information, there was an article in the Enterprise today on this very subject. I think it was about a half-a-page article.
So you're going to put it down so we know.
Well, that was an article written by the newspaper, but the notice of our public hearing is published as well in the paper.
So you're going to say in the next paper that it will be noted in November?
If it's determined that we do continue this matter, then our city clerk follows normal publishing requirements so many days in advance of the meeting and so many times of publishing. I can't tell you exactly what they are.
Okay,
But
thank you.
We'll do it the way we're required to do it.
Christy Reisman, Finnegan Lane, Angels Camp. I think it is a good idea to continue this matter until November. I think that this matter is of such importance to the health and welfare of everyone in Angels Camp that it deserves the attention of the entire city council. I'd also like to just recognize that this matter was first brought before you guys as a council, and you first commented on it actually over a year ago, October 6th, 2015. There was a in-depth PowerPoint presentation that was covered by both local newspapers. And since then, there have been a multitude of not only your postings in compliance with state law, but a number of newspaper articles and even television reports that covered this matter. So I do believe that there's been plenty of notice to anybody who is interested in following the city. But again, I do appreciate that you would consider continuing the matter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Linda Cross, and I actually live 3723 Cemetery Lane in Vallecito, California. As such, I am not a city resident, but I shop. I do all my banking. Everything is here in this particular town that I have to do. And I really would like to have the continuance, but I would also like this to make sure to everyone that is present tonight and beyond, that this is recognized in all of our newspapers and ads, whatever we can do. Now, you said again, what day was that? November?
It'd be the first Tuesday in November. I don't have a calendar right in front of me. I think it's
Election day.
November 3rd.
November 8th, is that election day?
Election day. November
That'll
8th.
be the first then.
The first Tuesday in
It'll be
November.
November
That's November
1st.
8th.
It's for-
November 1st.
Oh, November 1st, I'm sorry.
Okay, and what time would that be?
We normally, the public meeting begins at 6 PM.
And where would that be?
Well, we probably, assuming we can make arrangements for this room, this theater, we will meet right here.
And if not, where would that be?
I can't tell you that. But
Mayor,
we would try to accommodate a large crowd.
let's play devil's advocate, just since a lot of people are asking the question. The first meeting in November would be the first opportunity we can have it here. This would be, we're already told that the second meeting in November, it could be problematic to have it here. So there could be a chance that this meeting is actually continued until after the holidays, because it cannot be held in Bret Harte during the holiday season due to the events that they're having within the theater. So we are limited within the city limits as to venues that would hold more than 50 people. And just doing a head count, we would not be able to have this at the firehouse due to the crowd we have tonight. So there is a strong potential. We could sit here and talk about setting the meeting for that date and time and place, which will be our first goal, if that's what the direction is of the council. But we may be continuing this until January.
Is there other facilities within the high school, like the multi-purpose room that would accommodate us?
Again, it's something we could check. I can't make a promise.
Okay, well, I guess to answer your
I'm
question,
just giving worst case scenario.
we will do our best to find the appropriate room at November 1st, I guess, to accommodate everybody that's interested in participating.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your help. And also, I would just want to reiterate that I would very much like this to be publicized as much as possible prior to the date that you are actually going to address this particular situation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Beal, was there something you wanted to share with the entire council?
Yeah, well.
We have one more member of the public.
We have one more.
Public.
Okay, please, if you're going to speak to another council person, do it so that we all
You know,
can hear
if
it.
you're going to speak to the public directly and answer all questions during public comment, I think we have a little bit of latitude on the dais.
Next speaker.
My name is Shirley Powell, and we live on Wilson Street here in Angels Camp. And I think it would be a great idea to postpone this and have a much later hearing than the first week of November. Reason being, we found out about this just yesterday afternoon. We're completely opposed to it, and what we're opposed to has not been publicized.
Well, okay, but you will
So-
have your opportunity to talk about the material matters of the issue.
Okay, I'm getting to that. What I would request, like the lady that just spoke, is that when this is being publicize the entire matter, not just, oh, it's just a smoking ban. Many people thought this only was going to pertain to downtown Angels in front of the stores. They did not realize what the entire ordinance is and the impact that it will have on the entire city. So that would be my request, is that in some form or fashion, if this were to be extended until the beginning of the year, it would give time for the entire ordinance to be fully publicized to all of the people, so that we all understand what is being voted upon, because that's not been made clear.
Okay. I would only like to respond by saying that the entire ordinance, the staff report that accompanies that ordinance is published and available on the city's website. And so if you don't happen to find what you're looking for in terms of detail in a newspaper article, you can always go to the City of Angels website and you will see every piece of information that we, the council, see as well.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kaleda with the Health Department, and I was here to discuss the merits of the issue, but I guess that would be put off for another day. There seems to be some people voicing concern that they're not informed of what's going on. So, I mean, the processes for public notification, for the ordinance to be looked at ahead of time by people, I feel is fair, and people have the ability to do that ahead of time. So if people aren't paying attention to what's going on in the community, if they don't know when meetings are, if they don't understand how those meetings get posted, if they don't understand what the materials are that they can look at ahead of time, then I think, they should, better, be informed. So I'm looking forward to discussing this issue in more detail, and I think putting it off would be the right thing to do to allow more public comment and the full complement of city council persons.
Thank you.
Hi. I would agree that waiting until after the holidays is a great decision because people are so busy and their schedules are impacted during the holidays, and this is a very important issue. And if we can make sure it's in the newspaper, and especially maybe I feel it's very important that we let the veterans know as well, because studies show that veterans both currently smoke and formerly smoked at a higher rate than the general population. And smoking among veterans and the general population, it just remains higher among veterans. The prevalence of smokers in the VA is significantly higher than the general population, 33%
Ms.
versus
Davis?
23.
Yeah, we don't want to hear testimony at this time about your feelings about the ordinance,
Yeah.
only with it, whether you wish to have it continued.
And if we could let the veterans know, especially since this will
Well,
affect them.
we will do everything that we're legally required to do in terms of public notification.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name's Celeste Lesher, and we don't live in Angels Camp, but we do have a business down here. I'm good with postponing this a little bit longer so that everybody can know and understand this better. I'm also curious because I'm one of those people that was not well informed about it. Obviously don't read enough, don't have enough time to look at everything that maybe I should, but is there any chance tonight that you might explain to some of us exactly what this is, besides once we leave here, we'll be able to go on the website and look at it? Is that something we can do tonight?
Well, only if we do not continue. If we do not vote to continue the matter, then we will discuss it and act on it tonight.
Okay.
So it's
can't
an either, it's
talk
an
about
either
it
or.
then. Okay. Oh, it's one or the other.
Yes.
Okay. All righty. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mike Blankenhorn. I live at 1665 Sonora Street. I think continuing is a great idea. However, I think that we should make a concrete, absolute, definitive decision as to the when, not leave it hanging up in the air saying, well, maybe the first week of November, maybe not, maybe the second, but we don't know. Because when we do things like that, things tend to fall through the cracks sometimes. What I suggest is that we set a definite date for the first of the year. We can have more discussion, we can get more people involved, but make a definite decision tonight as to, okay, we're moving it past the holidays to this such and such a date, and then have it set in stone more or less as much that is possible with the venues and all that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Kimberly McCarthy. I live at 253 Point Drive in Angels Camp. In 2001, I moved here with my husband, and we lived in a rental up in the old section, and that meant we had to go to the post office to pick up our mail.
Okay.
No, I'm not getting into it, but that was when this issue was first brought to the city council. In 2002, I was one lone voice. So even though there appear to be a lot of individuals who could have accessed information and could have seen the information and could have heard the information, it's taken 15 years, nearly 16 years, for this now to be a larger issue, a larger group. And I personally am more than willing to wait for the consideration of a vote with a full board. I will caution, though, based on experience. January, the faces change up there monumentally. And that means there's a whole new educational process that needs to happen. We can all stand in this next section, if it gets to that, and give our arguments, which I, for one, have given before. But when the board changes in January, I can guarantee with all our busloads of people, it will be one very long hearing because everyone's going to have to reissue and rehash.
We will,
And I'm
Ms.
just
McCarthy,
saying.
we will make our decision on rescheduling the meeting based on the merits of the issue, not who will be occupying these seats.
I'm not worried about who, I'm just worried about the transference of knowledge. That's what I'm worried about.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jason Conrado, 292 Clifton Lane, Angels Camp. I also agree that continuance is a good idea. I think a little more awareness has to be brought up, you know, let some of the locals know exactly what's going on. I was just recently informed of the ordinance. And, well, can I ask a question? What is your legal obligation as far as what do you have to provide to the people of the city about this ordinance? I mean, is it something that you...
Well, I would defer to the city clerk only to say there are legal requirements to advertise for public meetings. It's covered under the Brown Act.
Excuse me. This can't be a discussion between the mayor and the public. It's supposed to be a public hearing, and we'll bring it back for discussion at the time.
Well, we're not even in the public hearing yet.
Okay.
But like I said,
public comment.
Like I said, the city website will provide you with that information.
And it'll be detailed information? I mean,
You'll have to look at the city website.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Veronica Matilde, 631 Lakeview Court here in Angels Camp. And I truly believe this matter should be postponed to the beginning of the year for the public to be more involved. I recently have seen that a lot of people, now that it has started really to come up to the forefront of discussion here in Angels Camp, people are concerned and they do want to look into the matter more in depth. And I believe that that's just what we're supposed to do. Thanks.
Good evening. My name is Debbie Ponte, and tonight I'm speaking as Debbie Ponte and not as anybody else or as someone else. I am a homeowner and landowner within the City of Angels. I ask that you continue this until the first of the year. I think that would give ample notice to send out information as well as for people to review the ordinance and be able to seek out their answers, etc. I would also ask, and I don't see this anywhere in the ordinance, if there's any kind of fiscal impact study that's been done on this ordinance and what it would cost the city to whether or not to enforce this or not, or what some options might be in regards to the fiscal impact to the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Joanna Monasajian, and I live on Mark Twain. And I would ask that you would postpone it to the beginning of the year so that we, the people, will know about it. I couldn't even get a copy of this ordinance. I had to go at the beginning of this last week to City Hall and pay 50 cents a page to get it. It was not posted on the post office wall as a Thursday when I went and got my mail. It was not until a few days ago it was in the paper. We, the people, did not know about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, coughing. My name is John Phipps. I live at 296 Marybelle, Greenhorn Creek, ex-smoker. I won't say I agree with the ordinance, but I don't understand it. And I get on the internet, a lot of people in the community, they don't know how to do that or access to, trust me, it's older people. I talked to my neighbors in Greenhorn, they never even heard of it. They smoke cigars and pipes. I don't know if I can, I like a cigar occasionally. If I can sit on my deck and smoke a cigar, but what happens if I walk on the street? I don't know the exact ramifications or where you can smoke, where you can't. We already have state laws in front of businesses, how far you have to be from the open door. If you step on the Highway 49 downtown, state highway, is that included too? Or around a side street, as long as you're 25, can you smoke? And I look at the internet, I read, I don't get a local newspaper, I go on the internet, the pinetree.net, Calaveras Enterprise. I've never really seen the exact proposal. I'm sure if you went down to the city somewhere and you asked for it, and some of the people that smoke or don't smoke, they can't go down there. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Personally, I want a continuance of it. And be quite honest with you, I know some of the council members might be here, might not next. But this is, whatever result, it's going to be a long-term result. We're trying to get tourism down here. People this weekend downtown met people from Ireland, all over the world.
So you're in favor of continuing that item?
Definitely.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to address the council on the question of to continue this matter? Having seen none, I will return the discussion to the council as requested. Anybody have a comment on the request to continue?
Yeah, I came here fully prepared to go ahead and address this issue with just four, but hearing not a single person wish to have this done today, then I'll agree and support a continuance.
I think the people have spoken. We'll go ahead and postpone it.
Okay.
I will go along with everyone that wants to postpone this, although I'm not in favor of doing that, but since there's so many people that haven't been able to get the information that's been out for years, and this is nothing new, this has been going on for a long time. And another thing that kind of is upsetting is I think we should have been advised before tonight's meeting that one of our council members would not be attending the meeting tonight. And this could have been postponed to another meeting. And I see there's no excuse for this. I was also prepared tonight, but we have one missing. So, you know.
Okay, with...
May I jump in on that?
Sure.
Always happy to be the lightning rod. Once an agenda is published, we do have to call the item. We can't unilaterally cancel it. And so I was made aware late last week that this request might occur, and I advised that we do still have to go forward with the meeting. We do still have to call the item, we can make a motion to continue, but, we have to allow public comment if you do continue. So I don't, I'll take whatever scorn you have, but that is how the Brown Act works. And-
Evidently, we didn't know at our last council
Well,
meeting.
Agreed.
Well, it's still upsetting.
I would agree. I'm disappointed and upset that we had to make all these arrangements. I personally found out Friday afternoon when I picked up my packet. By that time, the wheels had already been put in motion. It was too late to do anything. So I think we need a motion then, a formal motion. Is there anybody wishing to make a motion to continue this matter?
So move.
Moved by Vice Mayor Follendorf. Is there a second?
We're continuing this till when? After the holidays?
Do we want to make a date certain?
I would suggest that you do in light of what you've heard tonight.
Okay.
I think the first.
Sorry. We don't have the ability to make a date certain meeting in this venue because we have no control over this venue. So you can give us a range of dates, but that's about the best we can work from. But to give us a date certain beyond trying for the first meeting in November.
Well, let me make a
It'd be very
suggestion.
difficult for us to.
Could our motion include a date certain as of now, and between now and our next meeting, you would be able to identify whether that date is available? If it isn't, then we would schedule a subsequent date.
What you could do is make a motion for a date certain subject to the availability of this venue. And you could then specify what happens if the venue is not available, such as, a date on the other side of January 1st. But yes, you can make a motion, but I think you can accommodate Michael's concerns by making it subject to availability.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Based on what I've heard here tonight, I think it's appropriate that we continue this item till January 17th, which would be the third Tuesday of, third Tuesday of January, so that's a regular meeting day. So I move we continue the meeting till.
Well,
Vice
Mayor, she was the maker of the motion.
Then I remove my motion. I think we need to have it before January if the venue's available. Because we're going to, somebody mentioned earlier, we're going to go through an entire council to get the same education we have to do tonight. And I don't think it's in our best interest to then continue it at that point again if they don't feel comfortable.
Right.
I just don't want to run that risk.
I would like to, not interrupt, but reiterate, we do know that the whole month of December is not available.
Okay.
So we know that for certain. So we're down to 2 possible dates in November. And again, I say possible, but we do know December is not available at all.
And I'm not sure November 1st is enough time to educate the public based on the comments I heard tonight.
Well, at this point, we have a motion on the floor, looking for a second. Is the maker of the motion wishing to
I can remove my motion.
adjust your motion?
We can,
Well, the motion, as I understand it, is simply to continue this without a date.
yeah, there's no date with my motion. So
Okay.
I will remove.
You're
my
going to
motion.
withdraw. So
I'll make a move that, I'll move that we continue this item until the regular meeting on January 17th, subject to this venue being available.
Okay, is there a second to that? I will second that. Okay. It's been moved and seconded to continue this matter to January 17th, subject to the availability of this room. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Is there any discussion? I'm looking at.
Well, okay, I'm sorry. Is there more discussion?
If the majority of the council thinks it should go to January, that's fine. But I'm not comfortable, but I will support that decision.
Yeah, me too. I'll be gone, so it doesn't matter. I support it.
Okay, so
After all the work that's been going on for.
are we ready to vote on this?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that passes unanimously. Now, as suggested by our city attorney, we want to make the podium available for anybody that has come prepared and wants to talk to this council about the substance of the item. Is there anybody that wishes to do that at this time?
Before, are we going to be able to make, I'm sorry, I didn't, question before you, are we going to be able to utilize what the comments are saying now for our next meeting? Because if not, then I don't feel comfortable having all these people speak if it's not going to be recorded. And then have them go through it again.
I understand, Councilmember Follendorf. The issue is this: the Brown Act says that we have to allow comment on every item that appears on an agenda. And the item that appeared on the agenda was whether or not to adopt this ordinance and to waive the second reading. And so if we don't allow people to speak tonight, then we would technically be violating the Brown Act. I do understand your concern, which I think is valid, which is you will have other council members when this item comes back. And so I think the only thing I could say is we do have to let folks speak tonight, but I think the point to those in the audience is that if you speak tonight, you're speaking not to the full council that will decide this issue in January, and that there are only 2 members on the current dice that will be around, and that there will be 3 new members. So, you know, nothing that is said tonight may be remembered. The minutes will reflect the comments, and the minutes will be available to the new council members, but that's the best I can do. Unfortunately, we have to make sure that we comply with the letter of the Brown Act. But, well, Mary, go ahead.
I just have a question. Is this a public hearing opening, or is it just public comment?
No, so this is just the Brown Act. There's a section of the Brown Act that says we have to allow comment by the public on every item that appears on an agenda. So the comment that is provided tonight is simply comment required by that specific provision of the Brown Act. This is not a public hearing in that this has been noticed as such in the newspaper. So I apologize to the council and everyone in the audience that I'm getting very technical, but I do have to make sure that we follow the law to the letter. And so I'm happy to explain this further, but I might just numb your minds a little bit, and that's not good.
Okay. Sir.
Yes, I'm Alan Bube at 668 Mark Twain Road. And my members of the family, you know, I have not joined the military myself, but members of my family have joined the military. One was a bomber pilot in World War II. And I could go on with that, but they did not join the military to fight for a totalitarian nanny state. That is not what they fought for. They fought for this country so that we would be a country of freedom. And what this tobacco ban represents is going toward a totalitarian nanny state. And the members of the military did not fight for that. So I hope this ban would be, we would get rid of it and we would not consider it again. Thank you.
John Broder, 1860 Finnegan Lane. May I make a suggestion? And the suggestion is, I will withhold my comments about the ordinance until the later meeting. And in order to make this meeting short, I would suggest that my comments, the comments of the previous gentleman, be taken to satisfy the Brown Act. And I would suggest that the rest of the people in the audience, because there'll be 3 new members here in the next year, that you could wait to make your comments to that time, and you'll be sure that they got heard, because 2 of the people up here are going to go away and take your comments with them. Just a suggestion. I don't know if that would work.
Thank you, John.
Mike Darby, 1079 Bret Harte Road.
this is quite a poker game to me, sort of. I just became aware of this when I ran for city council about a month ago. Seems like it was a month ago. First I'd heard about it. I could go on and on and tell about what Angels Camp people, how they read their papers, how they talk on the street, how they get confused about marijuana. Is this a ban about marijuana or is this what? They would never do that. Okay, I hear all this comment. We got all these people here. I'm going to say, can I get a hand count for all the people that really don't?
Mr. Garvey, this is your opportunity to address the council.
Okay.
This is not a platform to speak to the audience.
Okay. So here's my question. Because I understand the dynamics of what this changeover is going to do in January. I believe I heard you say the other day that you're moving to Phoenix in January and retiring, moving away from Angels Camp. I heard this in a meeting. Now here's the thing. I don't know your name. This councilwoman.
Morris, Elaine.
Elaine. You know, I'm sitting here looking at this. Now I'm talking to you, but I guess they're listening, right?
That's right.
I'm looking at this panel, and I'm seeing Mr. Soban. Where is he? Okay. Now, let's say we move ahead. We reject let's say that your plan of postponement, which sounds really good to us right now, really good to me. That doesn't sound good to me because if we move it to January, we will have a new council. I don't know what they're going to think. This thing is just teetering on like teeter-totter. I'll try to get to my point. I think I'd rather just go ahead and have our meeting, have all of our comment, and you guys vote on this thing, or if that's what you were going to do tonight. And one member is just not here to vote. And I happen to know, well, no, I happen to believe that he's for this ban. It looks like it'd be a little easier for this ban to end right here tonight if we could have our public comment. I think through the comment itself, the people in this room will understand what the heck, what the parameters of this thing are all about. And I don't know. It's a weird thing here. I want to see it postponed, but then I don't either.
Thank you.
I'm not talking. I just want to get this and give it to Ms. Ponte. Hi.
I have some important issues for everyone to carry through, whether we decide tonight or in the future. Doing some research on Wikipedia online, the first modern attempt at restricting smoking was imposed by the then German government in every university, post office, military hospital, and Nazi party office, under the auspices of Karl Estell's Institute for Tobacco Hazards Research, created in 1941 under orders from Adolf Hitler. Major anti-tobacco campaigns were widely broadcast by the Nazis until the demise of the regime in 1945. You can research that. It's online. I mentioned before how our veterans are the largest demographic of smokers. According to the ordinance, the first offense for smoking is $100. The second time you're smoking or you're violating the ordinance is $250, and the third it's $500. Thank you so much, Sergeant, for fighting for our country. Here's your first offense. After 3, it's a misdemeanor. Oh, I'm sorry, General, you're going to go to jail. Is this what our veterans deserve? And no, this makes me sick to my stomach. We need to be encouraging the positive, not punishing people's bad habits. They already know that they have bad habit, and punishing them is not going to help. The law of attraction tells us that, right? What we give attention to grows. according to the City of Angels website, our vision, City of Angels' vision is to beautify and promote uniformity in the city by encouraging cleanliness, rehabilitation, maintenance, and enhancement of public and private property, to create family-sustaining jobs in a healthy, well-balanced community, to promote the cultural interest of the city through the preservation of our historical heritage by attracting and maintaining business attractions and emphasize the Gold Rush and Jumping Frog themes, to provide public services and facilities that are compatible with the needs and the philosophy of the community. Now, uniformity is a uniform condition, correct? Balance, a condition being equal in weight. So according to the ordinance, Greenhorn Creek has special privileges. The only exception to this ordinance is golfers on Greenhorn Creek, because on the it states privately owned golf courses. What makes golfers on privately owned golf courses deserve special interest compared to anybody else in the City of Angels Camp and our veterans? That, and also in the ordinance, it says if anything's unconstitutional, we should state it. There's a lot of unconstitutional issues in this ordinance altogether. I think it's nonsense. I think it's a whole can of worms we don't need to open up.
Thank you.
Thank you. And after our last meeting, City Hall, Mr. Bahil, I spoke with you after the meeting in the parking lot, and you said somebody lit up a cigarette, and I walked through it. Why do I have to smell that cigarette smoke? What's the difference between smelling cigarette smoke at Downtown Angels and when you're golfing? I don't understand. I'm a golfer, and I know it doesn't, you could be 20 feet from somebody, you could be 100 feet, you catch wind. I don't know the difference between somebody on the golf courses smoke and somebody Downtown Angels. I do believe that we have liberties in this country. We have a constitution that men died, lost their lives and their families for to establish. And they said, as long as we stand up for our rights, we will have them.
Thank you.
This is one of those days.
You're well past 5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello again, Mike Blankenhorn, 1665 Sonora Street. I'll be really quick. First of all, I wanted to, did you guys voted on continuing, and that's settled, done with? Okay, well, I wasn't quite sure on that. And just real brief, because I'll be here again on the 17th, but I just see this as regulation for the sake of regulation, to regulate something that is not a problem. I used to smoke. I quit earlier this summer. Usually people like me are the worst pain in the butt when it comes to, telling smokers what to do. But I walk through downtown. I'm all over the place on the bicycle. I don't see it as a problem. So why have regulation that is totally unnecessary? That's my point, and I'll see whoever is left on the council in the beginning of the year then, or end of January, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kay Helling, and I have two businesses downtown Angels Camp. I have Angels Creek Cafe and the bar downtown. I'm totally on the fence of this, of continuing. I believe that we should, in some sense, vote tonight. Whether that gentleman is not here, that's not our problem. He should have been here. He knew it was on the agenda. But also, I'm with Amanda Darby on the fact that the Greenhorn Creek is exempt from the ordinance. That's going to impact Wyndham. Wyndham, they're no longer be able to smoke at outside their buildings. They smoke on the verandas or on their balconies. That will hurt Wyndham. I'm surprised that Wyndham people are not here, the owners of Wyndham. because I'm sure that there are smokers that come and visit that place will probably cease or at least slow down a lot. For Greenhorn Golf Course, we have the high school that uses that golf course for tournaments and for practice and stuff. So how is that going to impact them? Are you going to say that none of the other golfers can smoke at that time that those teenagers are there golfing? I mean, they can smoke around them at the golf course, but you can't have smoke around teenagers anywhere else. That's kind of absurd. It doesn't make sense. So I am a non-smoker myself, but I think you are taking people's rights away, and I think that if it's all-inclusive, it should be all-inclusive. It should be Greenhorn Creek, it should be everybody, not exempt for them. It's not really fair. It's, you're doing kind of like a bipartisan thing there, it seems like, special treatment. If it's everybody, it's got to be everybody. You can't just have one side, I can get 250 people and go out and stand on Greenhorn Creek Golf Course and smoke there, because it'd be the only place to smoke. So, is that something that they would have an uproar if we did that? But, where else are you going to smoke in Angels Camp? And it's okay to smoke on the greens, so I guess that's where everybody will be going. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Celeste Lusher, and I said before, we have a business in Angels Camp, but we also own properties here as well. I personally am not a smoker, and I really don't understand this whole ordinance, but my main concern really is the fact that I think it's totally going to kill tourism, businesses, livelihoods for people. I am so concerned about that. We depend a lot. We have a restaurant, and we have a lot of tourists that come to our place. When people find out that you can't smoke, not that I like it, it doesn't matter. It's not about me. It's about our city. It's about keeping our businesses alive. A lot of us live here because we love the area and we want to be here. But if it becomes such an issue that we can't keep our businesses going because we've done this to ourselves, it was bad enough we put a bypass in so that downtown Angels Camp really felt that. What's going to happen to downtown Angels Camp if we do this? I just think it's a really bad thing. I don't know why we're doing this. Is it because we're thinking I don't know who adopted it, who thought it up, but is it we're thinking strictly of our health? I mean, I'm not sure what it is. Is that something that anybody can talk about? Can anybody answer that? Or is that not something you guys can talk to me about?
That could be discussed on the 17th.
The next time? Okay, well, I just think it's a really major concern for and very, very unfair, as Kay said, about, some particular area being exempt. So if that's the case, then if it passed and everybody had to smoke within their homes again, is that better for us? What about the people inside that don't smoke? I think I'd rather have them smoke outside than inside our homes. So I just think it's a bad thing all the way around. I think it's a really bad thing. So.
Thank you. Mr. Darby, you've already had your turn at the microphone. You get one chance to address the council.
Mr. Mayor, I believe now we're giving our comment. You're not going to vote on this tonight, right?
You've already been at the microphone and commented on the content of it.
I'd like to disagree with you, please.
No.
Can I ask the attorney?
You've had your chance to speak. Sit down.
But
or
the last
elsewhere.
well,
You've
the
spoken.
last time
You get
No.
one chance.
Mr. Darby,
You get one.
you're
chance
out of
to
order.
Speak. You've had your chance to speak.
Okay.
My name is Michael Magana. I am a resident of San Andreas and also a frequent visitor of Angels Camp. I'm here as the health education specialist for Calaveras County Public Health Services, and I want to give you a different perspective on things. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak on this issue on smoking and tobacco use. Just to give you a couple things regarding Calaveras County. Similar to other rural areas, Calaveras County is affected disproportionately by tobacco use. County residents face higher tobacco use rates. When you look at the county rate, the adult smoking rate, you're looking at an 18.2% adult smoking rate. That is significantly higher than the 13.8 statewide rate. That is a concern. The cultural acceptance of tobacco as a way of rural life only perpetuates that to the next burden on the next generation. When we're talking about youth, people talked about young people in the park at Tryon Park, the youth going to Utica Park as well. Right now, when we're talking about individuals, the burden is really unfairly placed on individuals and families on their way to the local post office. I used to live in Angels Camp. When they go to the theater and watch a movie, when people are spending quality time at Utica Park, exposure to secondhand smoke is a serious problem. It can have immediate health concerns. In 2006, the U.S. Surgeon General stated that there is no safe level of secondhand smoke exposure, even in outdoor areas. A recent study conducted by Stanford University, not by Wikipedia, but actual researchers, showed that there is a public health need for restricting smoking in outdoor areas. This research found levels of secondhand smoke that can be high outdoors as it is indoors. That's why protecting families, protecting residents, protecting those with chronic illnesses and people visiting this city is an important issue. The consequences of not protecting them are too great. The dangers of secondhand smoke are real and they're well documented. While some people may choose to be disrespectful and cause harm, other people may not just know what the rules are and realize the harm they are causing. Through educational efforts to residents and posting of no smoking signage in prohibited areas, smokers will become aware of the places where they can and cannot smoke. Likewise, smokers will be informed about where smoking is allowed and will have the support of no smoking signs to be able to ask someone to stop smoking. Education alone, we've tried this numerous times, does not provide a sustainable way to reduce exposure to secondhand smoke. What does work is creating smoke-free outdoor areas where children are frequently present also models healthy behaviors for children. And reducing the areas in which people can smoke makes it easier for people to quit smoking because they have fewer opportunities to smoke and creates a new social norm in which smoking becomes less acceptable. Speaking on the health impact, besides speaking on the health impact, there are other benefits to reducing secondhand smoke exposure in parks and other outdoor areas. Cigarette butts are the top litter item found in parks, and you'll hear from a representative from Teen Link Calaveras at this school that found 1,774 cigarette butts in downtown Angels Camp at Utica Park in just 2 hours. During the cleanup done by both some of the volunteers that are here, both youth and adults. So that's why it's an issue. It's the cost of smoking that's also an issue that affects the city economically. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm David, and I'm a representative for Teen Link Calaveras. I'm also a runner for the Bret Harte cross country team. One of the most common sights while we run is tobacco litter. We see everywhere in places such as the park, the creek, and the downtown area. As a runner, it's worrying to see so much tobacco litter in the area because it means that there are people smoking in these public areas. And during our runs, we see people smoking. Sometimes we have to run through clouds of smoke and are forced to breathe it in. Not only as a runner would I like to see Angels Camp smoke-free, but as a proud citizen too. Tourists come here to see historical Angels Camp, and seeing people smoking and also seeing tobacco litter through Angels Camp places an unclean and a non-family friendly feeling to the city. In the spring of 2015, we had tobacco litter to clean up. And in just 2 hours, 1,774 cigarette butts were found polluting our beloved city. As an athlete and a citizen, I'm in full support of the ordinance to make Angels Camp smoke-free.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Linda Wynn, and I'm a resident of Mountain Ranch. This evening, I'm speaking on behalf of Public Health. I am a public health nurse, and I am the public health manager with the Health Department. I would like to remind the council of information that was previously presented to you, that Michael spoke of the prevalence of the smoking in Calaveras County at 18%. What that means is that 82% of residents of Calaveras County are not smoking. So I think it's important to remember that. There was a public opinion survey that was previously done that showed that there is community support for this ordinance. 75% of those surveyed said they were in favor of a smoke-free policy in outdoor public areas in Angels Camp. This public opinion survey also found that 91 of those people who were surveyed agreed that it is harmful to sit next to or near someone who's smoking, even if you are outdoors. 82% of those surveyed said that they had been bothered by secondhand smoke in an outdoor area such as a restaurant. 54% of those who were surveyed said that they had actually moved to another location to avoid the secondhand smoke. And 15% of those who surveyed said they would have left the event or moved to another area. An online survey with California adults showed that 53% of those adults who were exposed to secondhand smoke within the last 2 weeks. 13% of those said that they had been exposed to secondhand smoke in the workplace. And 78% of Californians agreed that smoking should not be allowed in outdoor restaurants or dining areas. There are other studies that have been done that show that areas that have passed similar ordinances did not suffer a negative effect on businesses. The commitment of the tobacco prevention program, if you should decide to protect the health of residents and people visiting the city, is that the prevention program can assist the city with educating people about the dangers of secondhand smoke as well as the ordinance. We can assist people who are truly interested in not smoking and quitting smoking. And we can assist the city also with signage and purchasing of the no smoking signage that would be needed to enforce this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi again. I'm Jennifer Joe. We own 2 businesses in downtown Angels Camp. I think it's crazy to ban smoking down there. You people don't seem to understand what impact this is going to have on downtown. People won't come here. Frog jumps, people won't come here. They're going to go to Murphy's. They already do, because the cops here harass everybody in town when they come here. That's the rumor. Is it true? I don't know. But that's what the rumor is, and that's why Murphy's is more busy than Angels Camp anymore. People get a reputation. You can't smoke down here. The cops are going to be down here harassing you now if you smoke. What draws them to Angels Camp at all? Second, your statistics, 18% and 82% and all that, I can go pull my set of people and get the same statistics.
Sir,
against
please, this is your opportunity to address the council.
My name is Jennifer, not sir. Have you?
Sorry, with the lights I can barely see you.
Well, apparently you don't listen then either, because I said my name is Jennifer.
My apology.
My point is, anybody can give you any documentation backing any side of this issue. Go to New York City, they banned smoking in all the restaurants and bars right there on the borders. So what did they do? The people left. The places shut down. They lost 80% of their revenue in a year because people drove 5 miles out to the next state. You're going to do that to Angels Camp. I understand you're leaving this city. That may not affect you. I moved here like this lady here in 2001 because I love this city, because I love this area the way it is. I didn't come here and try to turn it into San Jose or Palo Alto or San Francisco. You guys want to complain about pollution and what smoking does to people's lungs? You got people burning brush. You got people burning garbage. You got cars that haven't been smogged in 30 or 40 years. You got lawnmowers going all year round. Where's that pollution in all your statistics for your lungs? I'm against it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Catherine Eustace. I'm a resident of Murphy's, but I work for the Calaveras County Office of Education as the Director of Student Support Services, and we serve all the students of Calaveras County. The county office administers student programs like the Calaveras Youth Mentoring Program, FNL Mentoring, tobacco use prevention education, and student mental health support and trainings. Part of my job is to support the countywide administration of the California Healthy Kids Survey, one of the most reliable tools that we have to measure student behavior in our small rural county. The survey indicates that Calaveras County's youth tobacco use rate has traditionally been one of the highest in the state. The good news is that that is coming down, but we still have work to do to protect our youth from tobacco. According to the Surgeon General, teenagers who smoke are 3 times more likely to use alcohol, 8 times more likely to smoke marijuana, and 22 times more likely to use harder drugs like cocaine. Teen smokers are more likely to have panic attacks, anxiety disorders, and depression, and are at greater risk for developing lung cancer. We've been working hard to try to educate students about the dangers of tobacco and prevent kids from starting to use it, and we're making progress. But there's been a culture of acceptance here in Calaveras County that undermines our efforts, and every step toward changing that culture has the potential to benefit our children's health. A new and particularly scary challenge has now arrived called vaping. Vaping devices are marketed heavily as harmless, filled with e-liquids in flavors like snickerdoodle and root beer. These unregulated liquids come in small vials that can contain enough nicotine to kill a toddler. Vaping devices are quickly becoming the perfect new drug paraphernalia as well, because they allow the user to vaporize and inhale any substance they choose, alcohol, pot, even meth, and disguise the odor of the aerosol so that it smells like cough drops or candy. Vaping is not a harmless alternative to smoking cigarettes, and it's critically important to prevent this dangerous new fad from becoming another culturally accepted norm in our community. A smoke-free Angels Camp ordinance would help protect our children from exposure to secondhand smoke and smoking behavior, and would send a strong message to our youth that our community cares about and supports their health and safety. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christy Reisman, Finnegan Lane, Angels Camp. I live in Angels Camp, and I have a small business located in downtown. You're being asked to make the right decision for the City of Angels Camp to protect us from the well-documented, scientifically proven, and medically established dangers of secondhand smoke. A small number of individuals in the community claim that this ordinance infringes on their, quote, right to smoke. However, it has been found and upheld in every court in the country up to the U.S. Supreme Court that there is no constitutional right to smoke. What the courts have found, and the reason that every single one of you should vote yes on this, regardless of your previous position, is that the courts have determined that a non-smoker's sensitivity to tobacco smoke is a physical handicap and deserving of protection under the Americans with Disabilities Act. The case was County of Fresno versus Fair Employment and Housing Commission in 1991, upheld in the California Court of Appeals. I look around this theater and I see a wheelchair ramp. I see sign language interpreters, all here to accommodate people with disabilities. Do you realize that for the millions of Americans affected by respiratory diseases and impairments such as allergies, asthma, chemical sensitivity, COPD, cystic fibrosis, lung cancer, emphysema, pulmonary hypertension, and other lung diseases, the presence of secondhand cigarette smoke fogging the entrance to a public building creates an access barrier that is just as significant as a set of stairs with no ramp for someone in a wheelchair. For perspective, approximately 2.2 million Americans are confined to wheelchairs. 25 million Americans suffer from asthma. 15.7 million suffer from COPD, bronchitis, and emphysema. 30,000 Americans have cystic fibrosis. Respiratory illness is a widespread disability, and those suffering from it shouldn't be ignored. The City Council should be keenly aware of the importance of eliminating barriers to access for those with disabilities of all kinds, including respiratory. The City of Angels Camp has already determined numerous times that it's necessary and appropriate to limit public individual behaviors that pose potential health and safety issues, particularly in places that are designed for children and families. It is perfectly legal for adults over 21 to drink alcohol, but since 1966, the City of Angels Municipal Code Section 9.04.010 has prohibited drinking or possession of open containers of alcohol in public. Therefore, every adult over 21 wishing to drink alcohol may do so in their homes or inside of a business licensed to sell and serve alcohol. The Smoke-Free Angels Camp ordinance is the exact same thing, except for it's slightly less restrictive. Smoking is against the law for individuals under age 21. Any adult choosing to smoke may still do so in their home, in their business, in a business licensed for sale and consumption of alcohol, in their vehicles unless a child is present, or in designated smokers' outpost, or anywhere that they're more than 30 feet away from a protected location. This is most of Angels Camp where that smoking is going to be allowed in. The reason that golf courses are exempt is because generally anytime you're on a golf course, you're more than 100 feet from everyone else. The key here is simply 20 feet from the windows, from the entrances and the exits of buildings that everyone needs to go in. It's a reasonable compromise to protect the people who don't want to smoke, to protect the people who are compromised and who actually are severely medically affected by cigarette smoke, and those who still wish to smoke.
You're coming up, you're over 4 minutes at this point, so you need to wrap it up.
This ordinance is not about vilifying smokers. It's about creating an environment that is welcoming and healthy for the largest number of people. It's about creating a safe, healthy environment for children and families. Evidence from the experiences of over 200 other California cities that have already adopted smoke-free ordinances show that this does not hurt the economy. If the city really wants to attract business to downtown, then it should do what other cities have done that have thriving downtowns. They have smoke-free public areas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Randy Davis. I live at 1352 Bush Street. I think if we're going to ban smoking in the city for allergies and other things like that, we'd probably have to ban people from having perfume on, too, and probably a lot of hair conditioners, shampoo, things like that with strong fragrances that could offend someone. So we might want to put that on there too if you can. And deodorant can be very offensive. Just the alcohol and the other chemicals that are in there, so I think it'd be a good idea to put those on there as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the council? If not, at this point, the item is
action will be taken.
the item is closed. Then.
The item's closed.
Okay. Okay. The last item on the agenda is a review of our calendar for the balance of the month.
Tomorrow, Wednesday at 10:30 is the COG-TAC meeting at COG. Thursday at 8:30 is Museum Commission meeting. On the 25th is UWPA at 5:30. On the 27th is the DAC Executive Committee. Monday, the 31st, is Halloween. UWPA's, I already said that. And then we're back here on the 1st.
And we also have a special COG meeting that's coming Thursday evening at 5:30.
This Thursday?
No, at the
Oh,
regular
and then-
Board of Supervisors chamber.
Thank you.
And then tomorrow night at the public, at the firehouse, the sidewalk.
Please announce that.
Oh, and tomorrow night, actually, the entire day will be the public outreach for the sidewalks for the downtown, from Murphy's Grade down toward the firehouse here in Angels. It's from 9 to 5, and then 5:30, the workshop, thank you, will commence at the firehouse with all of the alternatives, right? And for people to comment. So please get the word out and join if you can.
Thank you. All right, that concludes our meeting for this evening. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman
Second.
Tejal,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Hollendorf. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.